am the Master Raider, and today we are rating DC villains. And as always, my opinions are always right, your opinions are always wrong. Let's get into the tier breakdown. At the bottom tier, we have, what are you going to do? Like, why am I scared of this guy? This villain sucks. He's not going to do anything. He's just there. Why do you exist? What are you going to do? The next tier, annoying. Like, you kind of bother me. You're kind of a little bit of a pain, but it's not in a sense of like, oh, you could do a lot of harm. No, it's more like you're going to do something dumb, and then I have to deal with it. That's annoying. The middle tier, threat. On a good day, you might do some damage. On a bad day, you're kind of in the way, but either way, I got to deal with you and I got to take you somewhat seriously. That's the threat category. Then we have felon. This guy's going to do some serious damage. I can't leave him alone for a long time. He's scary in his own way. Got to take care of business with this guy, felon. And then finally, we have the most wanted category, the scariest of the scary, the world beaters, the people that I don't want to fight because I know might kill me at the end of the day. Or I'm going to lose something that's near and dear to my heart. I don't want to deal with these guys. That's most wanted. All right, to start off our DC villains, I have Bane. And listen, Bane has gotten a lot of love recently. If it was the Batman villain category, he'd probably be higher. But as a villain overall, I'm putting him in the threat category. Listen, for Batman, he does a lot of damage, both mentally and physically, right? He broke Batman in half. But your average superhero, look, Bane is going to give you a fight, but the Flash is going to take care of him really quickly. Green Lantern's going to take care of him pretty quickly unless he loses the ring. I mean, Superman's going to knock him out with one punch. Wonder Woman would probably knock him out. Actually, Wonder Woman and Bane would have a good fight, but Wonder Woman would still kick his ass. I've got Bane in the threat category. Next, we have Black Manta. And I'm going to put Black Manta in the most wanted category. And do you want to know why? This man infamously killed a baby. Okay, there's not a lot of villains in comics that are killing children, let alone infants. And that alone kind of puts him in the most wanted category. Also, this dude just wants to kill Aquaman over and over and over again. It's not even close, right? Black Manta does some serious damage. Also, very well done in the Aquaman movies. I wanted to see more of Black Manta in that regard. So when you see Black Manta hit the screen, you're like, oof, okay, this guy, he's going to do some damage. So I've got Black Manta in the most wanted category. Next, we have Brainiac. And listen, Brainiac, I am also putting in the most wanted category. This dude is terrifying. He's calculated. He doesn't have emotions. He doesn't care how people feel. He just wants to put you in a jar and observe you for the rest of your life. I don't want to deal with that. That's terrifying. Also, what does he have captured? What else does he have in there? I don't want to find that out. He's probably got some creepy aliens that could just off me in one shot if he really wanted to. So I got Brainiac the most wanted. Then we have Darkseid. And Darkseid is also going into the most wanted. I don't want to fight him. Omega beams are scary enough, dude. He gives Superman a run for his money. He gives everyone a run for their money. Honestly, the fact that Darkseid just hasn't taken over and won is actually insane to me. And now he's created his own universe of villains and heroes. Look, I got Darkseid in most wanted. Too many reasons for Darkseid to be there. Too many. Now I have Deathstroke, and Deathstroke to me is in the felon category. Listen, Deathstroke is probably one of the best assassins in all of comics, one of the coolest assassins in all of comics. This dude throws hands. He's the best of the best. And weirdly enough, his most famous rivalry or famous people he goes up against is the Teen Titans, which I find gnarly. I love the relationship between him and Dick. You just know when Slade shows up, shit's about to hit the fan. I've got him in the felon category. Next, we got Doomsday. And Doomsday, for me, this is tough. This is a really good list. Doomsday I'm putting in the most wanted category. I had to think about that for a little bit. That was a hard one for me to pinpoint. He killed Superman. All right, that's enough for me to put him in the most wanted. Who wants to throw hands with that? The thing is, he is just there to destroy. He is destruction incarnate. He doesn't care what's in his way. You know, I was thinking like, oh, what about his motives and stuff? He doesn't need motives. He's just a killing machine. No thank you. Pass. Doomsday. Most Wanted. Then we got Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn's kind of the anti-hero villain role. We're going to go villain Harley Quinn. I'm not going to lie to you. It's in the annoying category for me, and that's being generous. Basically off of popularity, she's getting into that. I don't mind her in the Injustice franchise, or I also don't mind her in Batman the Animated Series, where she was first created and actually added more depth to the Joker. Now she's just very overrated. Okay, she's just overrated. Suicide Squad, she's okay, but there's no reason for her to be as popular as she is. There just isn't for me. I don't get it. I don't see the appeal. I just see her on the screen. I'm like, oh, great, Harley Quinn. That's going in the annoying category for me. Next, we have the Joker in the Most Wanted category for obvious reasons. This man does not care. He is chaos incarnate. Look, with the other people that are in the Most Wanted category, like, is he living up to that standard? Probably not. But the dude is a lot smarter than people give him credit for, and we could go to the overrated slot for this guy too, but I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight the Joker. Don't. That sucks. Most Wanted. Then we have Lex Luthor. And Lex Luthor, I am putting in the felon category, and that might catch some heat. It might catch some smoke. But hear me out. At least Lex can be reasoned with. At least he has some humanity to him. Yes, he is going to do a lot. He's going to try to kill Superman left and right. And at the end of the day, his greed is probably going to get him in the end. At least in his base thoughts, he is trying to look out for humanity. Even if it's him being on top of humanity, I still trust that a little bit more than I trust those other villains. I've got Lex in the felon category. Next, we have Ra's al Ghul. Ra's, I am putting in the threat category. He just has a bunch of assassins at his disposal. As a Batman villain, he's fantastic. As a regular villain, look, this man has taught a lot of villains and a lot of heroes, in a sense. He helped train Deathstroke. He helped train Bane. He trained the Batman. He's got that legacy, right? Also helped train Damian Wayne. But outside of that, like, in some ways, shapes, or forms, he's trying to do good in his own brain sometimes, but I just don't see him as a big of a threat as the other guys on this list. Next, we have Reverse Flash, and Reverse Flash is going into the Most Wanted category. Talking about wanting to ruin a man's life, he literally went back in time and made it look like Barry's dad killed Barry's mom. And that's enough to just put him on that list. And do you want to know why he did that? Just out of spite, out of hatred for the Flash. Eobard is a messed up individual. Can go back in time like it's nothing. Arguably one of the best villains DC has to offer. I have Reverse Flash in the Most Wanted. Finally, I have Sinestro. Sinestro is going into the felon category. Same kind of reasons as Lex Luthor. At the end of the day, Sinestro just wants law and order, but in his own right mind. Is he wrong? Yes, absolutely. He tries to rule with fear. However, at least at some point, you can reason with the guy. It's not just smoke on sight. He's got some plan formed and shaped. So he doesn't want to just be a villain to be a villain. He does usually have methods at his disposal of why he's trying to do what he's doing. So I've got Sinestro for those reasons in the felon category. All right, that's part one of the DC villain list. I'm going to include the link to this in the bio, so go ahead and make your own. Try to prove me wrong if you want to, but you won't unless it's the same thing as me, then you're right. But on that note, Godspeed.